Good afternoon. We're back with more Marvel Snap, and today we'll be talking about how to climb the ranked ladder up to infinite quickly. And I'm not going to bury the lead. The answer is to identify and play well against the bots. So I'm going to be giving some tips on how to do that, how to identify when you're playing against a bot, and I'm going to be talking about some of the patterns that I've noticed in the bot play that can be exploited or are at least worth knowing about. So there's a very important tool for identifying the bots. We'll talk about that first, and that is the bot list. This is the bot list. It is simply a list of all the bots that have been identified in the game. I believe this was made by players who data mined the list from the game data. I will provide a link to this list down in the video description. It's a link to a Google spreadsheet. And all you do when you suspect that you're playing against a bot is Control F and see if the name is listed here. And we have different bot types over here on the right. As far as I know, the different bot types here do play a little bit differently. The bots that are labeled LSTM bots, my understanding of them is that they are learning or training bots, and they are in the ranked pool in order to gather data. I'm not sure if they're gathering data on how the players play, or if they are gathering data on their own play and trying to figure out how to play better. I imagine it as something like this. This is a YouTube video on an AI trying to learn to swing like Spider-Man, and this is how I imagine the LSTM bots playing. They're just basically trying everything that they can think of almost randomly, and then collecting data on the outcome, and I don't know if they're trying to improve their own play, or if they're simply gathering data on what the players do. But the LSTM bots, they tend to be those bots that auto-snap when they're ahead on turn 4, and make the most ridiculous plays that you can possibly imagine. So, always happy to be playing against an LSTM bot when your objective is to climb to infinite very quickly. Then we have these bots that are labeled real player. My understanding is that simply means that there is also an actual human player with the same name. So when you see Aaron there, real player, that means there's a bot that has the name Aaron, and there's also a real player that has the name Aaron. And so you have to be careful because you could be playing against an actual person. Then you have these bots that are labeled human, and these bots are designed to look like you are actually and feel like you're actually playing against a person, and they will, in my experience, cheat. They can see your plays, they can see the RNG outcomes, at least some of them can. And they will try to mimic what you do. They will play to the same lane that you do. Marvel just means the bot's named after a Marvel character, as far as I know. So we're going to take a look here at some of the bot games I've played, and I go through my methodology for how to identify when I'm playing against a bot, and then how to exploit their plays to get as many cubes as we can out of it. So first things first, this is a game that I played at rank 75. First thing I look at, the name, Anderson, very generic name, very generic portrait, very suspicious. So we go over to the bot list. I always have this bot list open on another monitor when I'm playing. We just do a Control F for Anderson, and we see that this is listed on the bot list as a human, which means it will attempt to mimic an actual human player's behavior. Now, some players have taken to naming themselves after the bots, so you still have to be a little careful and look for confirmation that you are indeed playing against a bot, because it could be an actual player pretending to be a bot. Here we see Iceman. Iceman used to be very popular in the meta. At high ranks, it's not included in a lot of decks, so getting more and more likely that this is a bot. But we'll need more confirmation to be 100% certain. So I make my play here. Probably the short delay there was when I actually went and looked at the bot list to see if I was playing against a bot. And here we see Ant-Man. So that's near 100% confirmation that this is a bot, as I typically only see Ant-Man in high-level decks in bot decks. And this is a very common card in bot decks. So near 100% confirmation that I'm playing against a bot now. So when the bot snaps, I know that I know two things. Number one, the reason that the bot snapped was because it's turn 4 and the bot's ahead. He's got a lead of 4 on the left lane, deficit of 2 on the right, so he's up on differential, which means for some of the bots an auto snap. Now that doesn't mean an auto snap for all of the bots. Typically the bots that will auto snap when they're ahead are the ones who make the really foolish plays. This wasn't labeled as an LSTM bot or a training bot, but the bot list isn't 100% foolproof. Some of the labels are wrong, and some of the bots are missing from the bot list, but it's a really good resource. The bot auto snap on turn 4 tells me that I'm playing against one of the training or idiotic bosses, so I can surmise that they're not necessarily going to see my plays, and they're not necessarily going to attempt to mirror my plays, though typically they will on turn 6. And by mirror, I mean whatever lane I make my strongest play to is the lane that they will make their strongest play to. But knowing that this is a training bot or an idiot bot, I have no problem about snapping myself here, and I will never back out of this game against a training bot. No matter how hopeless it looks, I'll really never back out of it, because their plays are so dumb that typically any reasonable play will win, though it's not 100%. Occasionally, I'll still lose to a training bot, which is embarrassing, but it happens. So here I'm planning on just playing Spider-Man wherever he makes sense, and then on turn 6 I'll play Viper on the right and Enchantress on the left on the Ant-Man. Blade is another very common bot card that's a bot tell, because you almost never see Blade in a non-bot deck. So I'm now 110% certain that this is a bot. And that I'm going to win 8 cubes, because I've got a pretty strong play for turn 6. Sentry is a very good deck against bots because they see that void and they think they're ahead, or they think that they can win when they actually can't. So the bot making its strongest play to Sokovia is 100% predictable here. I mentioned that the bots will mirror you on turn 6. So typically whatever lane I make my strongest play to is the lane that they will make their strongest play to. So them not playing at all to Kunlun is not a surprise. And I end up winning middle and right for an 8 cube win. Let's move on to the next game. Here we have a game against the player Raiden. So we'll just take a quick look at the bot list. And we see that Raiden is listed here as a human. So we will look for confirmation and then play accordingly. Ant-Man, that's near 100% confirmation. As I said, Ant-Man is one of the tells we look for early in the game that we're playing against a bot when we've already suspected it. The other would be Blade. The third would be Angel. Or Squirrel Girl. I don't see much destruction at high ranks anymore after the wave nerf. So Squirrel Girl is a pretty big tell. We got Ebony Maw and Colossus to Gamma Lab. It's a decent play. That tells me that we're not playing against one of the training bots that will do the stupidest things possible. And that they will, in fact, make an honest effort to win. That they can probably see my plays, that they will try to mirror me more than the other bots might. And that they will be capable of doing things like no-scoping my on-reveals with a Cosmo or stuff like that, which is... but in this case, I've got Fisk Tower locked down with Spider-Man and Professor X, and I can Shang-Chi the Hulks at Gamma Lab, so... Another perfectly fine option would be to play Enchantress on the Claw and the Lizard, but I opt to just Enchantress the Ant-Man and play Shang-Chi, though. With the Hulk getting destroyed, of course, there's no chance that Ant-Man is going to go off, but either option would be fine. I think playing Enchantress left would be fine here, too, with Shang-Chi right. So the bot doubles the Claw and does in fact win mid, but no matter. Pretty decent play from the bot there. I wouldn't say there was anything overtly wrong with the bot's play. Certainly this was, the label on this bot as human is accurate. He was designed to mimic a human's play. And in this case, he did not mirror my play on turn 6, but actually played Onslaught where it made the most sense. But he didn't account for Shang-Chi, and so it was an 8-cube win. Let's move on to the next game. This is a player named ZYFS, so let's go ahead and take a look at the pot list. And we see ZYFS is listed as an LSTM or a training bot. So we're feeling good about this one already. But we will look for confirmation in case it's a player disguised as a bot. We see Squirrel Girl, and we've got near 100% confirmation now, because that is combined with the name and the fact that this is on the bot list. Squirrel Girl isn't a very common card in any meta deck. So we got near 100% confirmation that this is a bot, and that probably the label is correct and this is a training bot. Not sure about using Viper here. I should have used Carnage, given that Muir Island buffs the cards every round. I don't know why I would use Viper in this spot. I guess I just didn't think about it. It's a mistake in my play. Carnage would have been much better here. But I tend to get a little bit sloppy when I know I'm playing against the bot. I don't think about things as much as I probably should. So in this case, the bot has a lead at Luke's bar. And that didn't bother me too much since I knew I was playing against the bot. But it is a concern. And the bot uses Wave here. They're probably using like an old Death Wave deck. And it just hasn't been removed from circulation since the Wave nerf. And here, the bot decides to destroy their own squirrel at Luke's bar and eliminate their lead there. It's a training bot. They are not smart. Typically, I'll try to snap by at least turn 5. There's no real reason to snap earlier against the bot, but I want to snap before 5 because sometimes they do retreat, and I want to get at least 2 cubes if they retreat. So here I'm just going to go like, I don't know. I don't think it matters. These bots players are so bad that any reasonable play will win. as you could see with the deathlock on their own squirrel at Luke's bar. So I play Void and then Carnage, or play Sentry and then Carnage to get rid of my, and this is a retreating bot, so glad that I was able to get the 2 cubes out of it at least. This bot's name is Bo. We'll check the bot list. And we see here that Bo is listed as a human player. A lot of the times the bots that are listed as human players are cheating bots, and this is a good example of a cheating bot. By cheating bot, I mean they can see your plays, they can see the RNG outcomes, and they will sometimes no-scope you with Cosmo on your on-reveals, which is at times why when you're on a losing streak, it can feel like you can't do anything right and your opponents do everything right. It's probably literally the case because you're playing against cheating bots. And I'll show what I mean in this game. So here the bot mirrored my play. That's a very common tactic for a bot labeled as a human player. They have exceptions, but you can rely on them to play to whatever lane you are playing to a lot of the time. So knowing that this is a bot and seeing he played Green Goblin to the same lane as me, here you can see he no-scopes my Spider-Man with his Cosmo and then insta-snaps off of it, which is fine. I didn't have a way to deal with the Sentry Void, so I'll play it on the Cosmo lane here. And once again, the bot mirrors my play, playing his Warpath to the same lane that I played my Sentry to. And here, this is interesting because my Magneto will pull Warpath and Cosmo, but I know that the bot is likely to play something to Pet Mansion because I played my Magneto there, and this particular type of bot likes to mirror your plays. We've seen that they already did this a couple of times in this one, three turns in a row actually. When I played Goblin to Pet Mansion, well, neither of us really had a choice because Pet Mansion dictates that turn all cards must be played there. But when I played Spider-Man to Onslaught Citadel, he no-scoped me with the Cosmo. When I played Sentry to Onslaught Citadel, he played the Warpath there. Now the bot may be thinking that Warpath and Cosmo are ongoing effects and that will therefore, he may have some code that just says play ongoing effects to Onslaught Citadel. It may not be cheating. It may just be coincidence. There's no way to tell, but I'm just talking about patterns that I have noticed in the bot play. Patterns that I can't prove but that I suspect are there. Now in this case, I could pull either Cosmo or Warpath with the Magneto if my opponent plays something to Pet Mansion, and I do expect him to, just based on my own observation of bot patterns. So I have an internal debate with myself about what to do, but I decide that if I play Enchantress to Central Park, the bot may decide to place his strongest play there. And then if he made like a weak play to Pet Mansion, I could lose. So I decide that one strong play to the right lane is better, because then hopefully the bot will make one strong play to Pet Mansion as well, and I'll win Central Park just with what I have there. And the bot can see the RNG outcome, so he knows whether Warpath or Cosmo is going to get pulled. And in this case, it's Cosmo. And that means that the Destroyer on reveal doesn't go off. But ultimately, the bot did not win, and my plan was successful with one big play on the right lane. The bot mirrored my play with one big play on the right lane, and if I hadn't pulled his Cosmo, he would have destroyed all the rest of his board. But of course he knew that what I was going to pull with the RNG, so there was no risk of that for the bot. But nonetheless, this is a good example of In my opinion, I can't prove this, but in my opinion, this is an example of what you can do against bots to exploit their play. Just understand that the bots have a tendency that I've noticed to mirror your play, particularly on turn 6. In the early turns, not always, but particularly on turn 6, they will mirror your play. If you play small cards to middle and right, they will play cards to middle and right. If you play one big card to one lane, they will play one big card to that lane. If you play 3 small cards to one lane, they will try to do the same. In essence, they kind of arrow themselves. And that can be exploited. I can't prove it because I don't see the bot code in terms of how they play. But this is just the pattern that I've seen and the mindset that I have when I'm playing against a bot. So let's move on to the next bot game. This bot's name is Mermoxy, so let's take a look at the bot list. Mermoxy. And this is labeled as an LSTM or a training bot. This game was played at rank 97. And here I'm just looking the bot up on the bot list, which when I'm tryharding I will typically do nearly every game. And the bot plays Blade and discards Ant-Man. That's 100% confirmation that it's a bot. And then they play Squirrel Girl, so that's 110% confirmation that it is a training bot, and they are playing the Buff the Ones deck, so the deck with Blade, Elektra, Khazar. And I'm going to take up one of their board slots so they can't do something like Khazar and then Onslaught. I'm not 100% sure if the bot deck runs Onslaught or not. I'm thinking right now about playing something to a lane that will not gain me the lead. If I can do that without seriously impeding my ability to win, because I want the bot to snap. But here I'm going to be taking the lead at Mojo World. Fortunately, the bot takes the lead at mid, though does lose the lead at Onslaught Citadel, but at least it means they'll stay in the game. Though they may not auto-snap themselves. This is a game where I wouldn't be feeling that confident if I was playing against an actual player, and I might consider a Professor X play a little bit risky. But I did know that the bot would mirror it. I just had to hope that he wouldn't mirror it with something strong enough to take the lead there, and he didn't. And then the bot snapped because he's leading at 2 lanes, which is excellent. So I can just play Sentry and Shang-Chi. I'm immune to Blue Marvel at Mojo World. So if the bot plays something big like America Chavez, I'll Shang-Chi it. And they do play America Chavez. Shang-Chi would be enough just with the points, but that's going to be an 8-cube win at rank 97. And we'll go over one more bot game. The final boss, which got me to Infinite this season. So this bot's name is Onkrisby1279. Take a look at the bot list. And we see that they are labeled as an LSTM or training bot. This game was played at rank 99 and 4 cubes. So we're feeling pretty good about our chances to make Infinite in this game at this point. Though we do have to confirm that this is a bot with 100% certainty. And that confirms it, because nobody but bots plays Angel. especially not an upgraded variant like that. And Squirrel Girl's another tell, as discussed earlier. The LSTM bots, this seems to be the most common deck type that they play, which is the Buff the Ones deck with Khazar and Blue Marvel. And here he chooses to Deathlock two of his own cards plus the Hood. Okay. It's not an awful play if it was a player, if he's playing like Deathwave. Of course, Deathwave is dead now. But as I said, I don't think that the Deathwave bots have been removed from the pool. I also encountered at least one bot playing High Evolutionary. And I made a mistake here, carnaging my own Daredevil. I don't know why I did that. I tend to get a little sloppy when I'm playing the bots, but I would have liked to have Daredevil on the table to see the bots play on this round, and that was what I was intending. I think I just had a brain spasm or something. But you can get away with brain spasms against the training bots because they don't have any brains. Sabretooth is something you never see in any deck but a bot deck as well. So they get out Death there. And I'm only up by 7 at Muir Island, but I know that with the bots, against a player, I wouldn't be feeling that confident here. Because if I played to Hell's Kitchen with Magneto, all the player would have to do is win by 8 at Muir Island. If I played to Muir Island, I'd pull Sabretooth and Deathlock over there. But I'd be vulnerable at Hell's Kitchen. But against a bot, I know that I'll just play Magneto to Hell's Kitchen and the bot will make their play there as well. And then I'll probably pull Sabretooth over. Yeah. Or the bot just fills up the location and I'm just fine. In this case, they play Bucky and Carnage and end up losing the lane by 1. So that's Infinite for this season. This was done, these videos were recorded yesterday, May 25th, 2023. Went from rank 74 to rank 100 in about 3 hours and 20 minutes. Playing against 90% bots. So hopefully this is helpful. If you take nothing else away from the video, at least take away the link to the bot list. It is a very helpful tool and will help you climb the ladder more efficiently. My opinion is that the most efficient way to climb the ladder is to play conservatively against players and then exploit the bots. It's cheap, but it works. It'll get you Infinite quickly, at least faster than not doing that. And you shouldn't take away from this video that it's possible to climb the ladder in 3 hours generally, from rank 75 to 100. In my case, I am pretty sure that the reason that I was able to do that is because my MMR is at an infinite level, like infinite rank level. But I haven't played much this month up to this point. So the matchmaker can't find players who have MMR to match me against because they're all at infinite already. And you can't match infinite players against non-infinite players anymore. So I couldn't find anybody to match me against that was both at my rank and my MMR. So it matched me 90% against bots. And that's why I was able to climb so quickly. Probably most of the players watching this will not be facing 90% bots from 75 to 100. But when you do face a bot, and when I was grinding my MMR up, the first couple of seasons that I made Infinite took about 100 hours of gameplay in a month. And when I was grinding, I would find that I would face maybe one bot per 45 minutes, roughly, give or take. And that's probably what most of you will see. But check every player on the bot list, and when you do find that bot, exploit it. And that is how you will climb up to infinite. Good luck, and thank you for watching.